Welcome to the recorded version of Overview of Career Center Services. In this recorded presentation, we'll go over what we do at the Career Center, what does our programming look like, our resources, as well as our career development programs. And we will also go over Ucr Handshake and common questions that we get at the Career Center. By the end of this workshop, you'll be able to learn what resources and support you have available during your time at UCR, identify ways to connect with and access the Career Center while you're a student, and describe how you might be able to take your first step in utilizing our services. So if this is your first workshop at the Career Center, I wanted to introduce you to our Nace Career Readiness Competencies. If you're not familiar, Nace stands for the National Association of Colleges and Employers. The members of this organization include college career centers and numerous employers, including those from the Fortune 500. And basically what these career readiness competencies are is they're basically agreed upon set of competencies or skills that members of this organization, so college career centers and employers, have come together and have decided are the things that college graduates need for a successful transition into the workplace. So as you may possibly view other workshops that we have, keep an eye out for these different icons for the career readiness competencies, because in that presentation, these competencies are relevant to whatever it is that we're talking about. And I encourage you to pay attention to these things. You're welcome to ask us more about these things. And how you might be able to develop these skills further so that by the time you graduate, you have these skills fully developed and you will be ready to make that transition into the workplace. If you are interested in learning more about each of these individually and getting some examples of how you can develop these skills further, I recommend that you go to naceweb.org. You can also just search it, Nace Career Readiness Competencies, and it'll pull up that web page with these competencies directly. And you're also welcome to talk to us about them, and we would be happy to talk more. So this is some information about our physical location and our typical hours of operation. So we are located in the Career Center Plaza, which is across from University Lecture Hall and the Surge building. We are pretty close to the ARC. That's probably the part of the Surge building that is closest to us. We are also behind and below the UCR campus bookstore. Our hours typically are from Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., except for Wednesdays when we typically have our morning staff meetings. And that is usually, so our hours for Wednesday are usually 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. This may become a little bit more flexible depending on our return to campus planning and the needs and schedules of our staff. You can schedule individual counseling appointments through Handshake during the times that our staff members have made available during these general operation hours. So next we have our Express Career Advising hours, which are formerly known as drop-in. Our hours during the academic year are typically Monday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and then 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. And the day before a fair, our fairs are usually on Wednesdays. So Tuesday, the day before a fair, we will also open up the lunch hour, 12 to 1 p.m. As well. And lastly, on Fridays, we do have reduced hours from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. because we usually have lighter foot traffic on those days. And also when we are not in, during the academic year, if we are on vacation, summer break and things like that, we will usually have a more reduced express career advising schedule. These are some images of our physical location. So on the left, we have an image of our front entrance, which has the capability to be opened automatically. On the right, we have our lobby, and off to the side of that image is our front desk location. So when you walk in, you will be greeted by one of our front desk assistants who will help you determine what services you need and how to go about receiving those services. We understand that a lot of the people who use our services are still in the career exploration process, which is okay, that is normal, and we welcome that. Some of the services that we have to support with your exploration are career exploration workshops and panels, namely our job discovery series, which we hold multiple times each quarter. We usually have a series of job discovery panels over the course of like a week or so each quarter, kind of focusing on different fields, industries, and majors potentially. And we offer that each quarter, so I highly recommend that if you are in the exploration phase or if you're fairly certain what it is that you're interested in terms of a career, I still highly recommend that you take part in these job discovery panels, because not only are they really informative, but they're really great opportunities to network, because we bring in, sometimes we'll bring in UCR alum or other professionals and recruiters. So it's a great way to connect with others in the field. We also offer one-on-one career counseling. When you create an appointment, either in person or virtually, you will be asked to identify what is your need for career counseling, what topic do you want to discuss, and one of our topics is career planning. So we can help you along that process of exploration, kind of understanding yourself, doing some research, trying out new things, and taking action that way as well. So even before career exploration, you might also be exploring different majors, and we also support with that as well. If you are unsure about, your current major, or you are still undecided, you can come and meet with us, and we'd be happy to talk with you about your decision or that process a little bit more. I do want to note, though, that we do not support with the actual change of major process, so any documentation that you need to submit for your formal change of major needs to be done through your academic advisor. We also offer a few career exploration assessments. So we have the MBTI, the Strong Interest Inventory, and the Focus 2. Those are usually the three associated with career exploration. If you are interested in these, I recommend that you make an appointment to discuss any questions about the assessments prior to taking any. However, you can take the Focus 2 on your own now. It is available through Handshake. If you go to the Career Center page on Handshake and click on Resources, it is available there. And the Focus 2 assesses for your values, interests, and personality, and can give you some insight as to what majors on campus kind of align with those, as well as some possible career paths as well. So it's a really valuable and helpful tool, and I think regardless of where you are in your career planning process, I think it can be very insightful. Last but not least, we also help students with graduate and professional school preparation and tips as well. And so if you are in that process, or you're thinking about graduate or professional school, we can kind of walk you through it and advise on how to start preparing for that. However, one thing to note is that we do not support with the writing of any letters of intent or statements of purpose, basically any essay that you use to gain entrance into graduate or professional school should be reviewed with the ARC. With regard to job and internship search, we offer a variety of services with that as well. So first and foremost is our Handshake Database. So Handshake is the online portal that you will use to not only search for jobs and internships or sign up for workshops and career fairs, but it's also how you make appointments with us too. So Handshake, it's very important to activate that as soon as possible so that you not only have access to tools that you can use for your job and internship search, but also to make appointments with us as well. We also have several job and internship related workshops that we offer throughout each quarter that you are welcome to attend. We also have recorded versions such as this one that you're watching right now available to you in the event that you aren't able to make it to the workshop that you wish to attend. Next is our on-campus interview program. So sometimes the employers that we work with will request to interview with us. Usually it was done in person. It's not something that we have done as much virtually, though that is starting to change as well. So in person, the on-campus interview program allows for employers to use our space at the Career Center to schedule prospective candidates for roles that they're seeking to fill. So it is a really convenient way to interview with employers and continue with your job or internship search. Next are information sessions that we hold with employers and graduate programs. We have these throughout each quarter as well, so I highly encourage you to keep a lookout for the events on our website, careers.ucr.edu, or frequently check the events tab on Handshake. With the events tab on Handshake, you can also, in addition to seeing any sessions that we host or our workshops, you can also see any employer-hosted workshops and events that are available virtually. The last piece is practice interviews. So we have another module that is available through Handshake. It is called Standout Mock Interview, and it is a way for you to record yourself responding to common interview questions. And you can replay this footage and gain some automatic feedback from the platform itself. But you can also send or view this recording with your career specialist in an appointment and gain feedback on that as well. Last but certainly not least, we have our Career and Information Day fairs. Traditionally, this is kind of the schedule of when we host different fairs, though it may look different depending on the academic year. We do our best to adjust the format according to recruiter preferences, as well as what we think will be best for students to be able to meet as many recruiters as possible from these different companies and programs for graduate and professional school. For more information about each fair, you can go to Handshake and look at the Fairs tab. Just keep in mind that depending on the time that you are viewing this video, if it is well over a quarter before a certain fair that you're interested in, signups might not be available just yet. So here we have our website, careers.ucr.edu. I highly recommend that if you haven't already, to start exploring the website. There is a lot of information that is available to you here. You can also learn more about us, our mission, get contact information for our staff members. And it's also a way that you can access Handshake. So if you scroll down further past where it says Handshake, log in to your Handshake account, there will be buttons where you can click on the student login and it will direct you to the portal for Handshake. So I wanted to start by highlighting a few things that you can find on our website. The first is some of our resources related to career planning. So here we see our career decision-making model, which can be interpreted and started in a myriad of different ways. So we highly recommend starting with knowing yourself because it is kind of it's a good way to get some direction and guidance as to where to go throughout the process. But you might start exploring options and gain experience, and maybe you have to go back and reassess, what do you know about yourself? What are some things that you learned about yourself through this process of gaining experience? So it's possible to kind of go through this cycle in an iterative manner, or you can, go across and skip sections. Think of it more as like a web as opposed to a circular process that is very cyclical and iterative. On the side here as well, we have some other resources. So one that I really love to use in my work with students is careers in your major. So if you know what your major is, you love your major, it excites you, but you're wondering, what can I do with this beyond this one thing that I know? I highly recommend that you click on careers in your major. It will direct you to one of two things. So you can access a website called What Can I Do with This Major? Or you can also view the PDFs that we have available by clicking on the different majors that we have listed. Other things that you can look at as well are college-specific milestones. So these are milestones that are relevant to your college, as well as our first year to senior career plan. If I could see the analytics for all of the pages on our website, I would guess that job search strategies is one of our most visited. So this is where you can find information related to your job search. So anywhere from starting your search to creating your resume, researching industries and salaries, how to go about networking, interviewing skills, etc. This is the hub for that. So this will probably become a very close friend as you begin to search for internships or your full-time job search. So I would recommend bookmarking this for your reference. Another page that I would highly recommend bookmarking is our online workshops and resources page, which makes up part of our virtual career center. So as the name implies, this is where we have our workshops and resources such as our handouts available virtually. So you can access these 24/7 no matter where it is that you are. In addition to this resource, we have, of course, Handshake and our calendar of events, as well as our social media. Of the ones on this list, the ones that we use most frequently are Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. And you can also access company information through websites such as CareerShift and Glassdoor. In addition to our counseling services and events, I also wanted to talk about our career development programs, which are designed for special populations on campus. These run for anywhere from 1 to 2 to 3 quarters and are usually small cohort based. Each of these programs is facilitated by at least one of our staff members, and sometimes we partner with other campuses or other offices on campus, such as the Student Disability Resource Center, undocumented student programs, and the like. Here is a list of our currently active career development programs. So we have Aspire, which is for differently abled students, the Butterfly Project for undocumented students, Get Hired, which is targeted for international students, Operation Vets for student veterans, and Orbits for first-generation college students. Next, I want to introduce Handshake. So Handshake, as I mentioned earlier, is kind of our portal for jobs, internships, events, but also it's how you make appointments with us virtually if you aren't able to make it to our physical location. So in order to access Handshake, you can visit our homepage, careers.ucr.edu. And you can scroll down a bit to where you can see this image. It says, it just has a logo for Handshake, and it has the different buttons for different individuals to log in. You can also visit go.ucr.edu/UCR Handshake to access it directly. Alternatively, you can access Handshake through your R web portal by clicking on the logo for this button below. This is what it will look like when you log into Handshake. So this banner image that you have here usually has a couple of action items that you can take that day that you're logging in. So it's really helpful to pay attention to that and take action on these items to further your job search or career exploration. Underneath the banner image, we have the link to our Career Center page on Handshake. This is where you can view our resources. So when I was talking about like the Focus 2 or our mock interview tool, if you click on this portal or on this link, it will direct you to our Career Center page where you can access these resources as well as make appointments with us. Below that, you can view some other information such as upcoming events, jobs that might be of interest to you based on your utilization of Handshake. So Handshake functions similarly to Netflix or other streaming platforms. As you use Handshake, it's going to get to know you more and provide you with more relevant events and positions that would be of interest to you. So no job search site would be complete without your profile page. So by clicking on the upper right-hand corner where you will either see your initials or your profile picture, you can fill out your profile. We highly recommend that you fill this out to the best of your ability and make this public. Add a resume as well, which can not only help you complete your Handshake profile, but a lot of employers look for a public resume on Handshake and use this to aid in their recruiting efforts. So the more filled out your Handshake profile is, the better for employers and also for you. If you upload your resume on Handshake, you can also use that information to help you build your profile on Handshake. So it can be really helpful. It's definitely not perfect, but it can be helpful in getting your profile started. Next to your profile picture is the Career Center tab, which is another way that you can access our page on Handshake, where you can access appointments and resources. On the other side of the navigation bar at the top of Handshake, you can search for jobs, events, and employers. So this is what it looks like when you click on the Events tab. You can search for events that are hosted by us at the Career Center, as well as employer-hosted events and career fairs. Last but certainly not least is the Jobs tab. So this is where you can find not only jobs, full-time jobs, but part-time jobs, internships, and other positions that might fall in between. You can filter by on-campus jobs if you're interested in working on campus. If you have work study, you have a special filter that only you have access to. And if you click on the All Filters tab, you can also apply other filters such as major, industry, GPA, and other things. With any keyword search, it can be helpful to be more specific, but if you get too specific, it's likely that you will find very few, if any, results. In addition to the filters, you can also do a keyword search in conjunction with that or alone. And when you find a position on the left, it will pull it up and the details that correspond to that position on the right side of the page. So that was all of the information on our services that I wanted to provide. Now I wanted to get into some frequently asked questions that we receive at the Career Center. So the first one is, when should I visit the Career Center? We highly recommend that you visit us as soon as possible. You don't have to visit us in the last quarter of your senior year. We actually advise you to meet us much sooner than that. No matter where you are in your career planning or exploration process, we are happy to meet with you. If you're in your first year, we can talk about, what things to get involved in on campus that will help you meet your goals, or start looking into what these goals might be in the first place. And of course, as you get closer to graduation, we can do things related to internship and full-time job search, grad school prep, and things like that. So we highly recommend, no matter where you are in your academic career, that you come visit us. Though I will say, if you are in your first year, whether you are an incoming first year student or an incoming transfer student, we do recommend that you get used to the quarter system and all the woes and joys that come with it before you meet with us, just so that you're acclimated to campus life by then. Will the Career Center find me a job? So we do not place students in jobs or internships, but we can help you navigate the job and internship search process and provide you with the tools to be able to secure one of these positions. Do career assessments tell me what career I should choose? While assessments can be really helpful and provide a lot of insight, they are not perfect by any means. So please do not take what an assessment tells you to heart. It is meant to be used as a tool, like many of our resources are. So take the results with a grain of salt. And I highly recommend after taking an assessment for the Focus 2, for example, which you can take on your own, I highly recommend that you schedule an interpretation, either a group or individual interpretation, to dive into these results a little bit further and understand what it is that they mean in relation to you and your career goals. Where are we located and how can we be accessed virtually? So we are located in the Career Center Plaza, which is across from University Lecture Hall and the ARC. We are also below and behind the bookstore. So that is our physical location. In terms of accessing our services virtually, you can either access us virtually by visiting careers.ucr.edu or by visiting Handshake. Before we end, I wanted to introduce the UCR Career Network, which is an online community for networking, mentoring, and job opportunities for alumni and students. It's a great way to connect with fellow Highlanders. It functions very similarly to LinkedIn, but it has video conferencing call capabilities built in, and because you have to opt in to register to the Career Network. Everyone who is on this platform is really eager to connect with others, so it's a great place to find a mentor or network with fellow Highlanders. You can register by visiting careernetwork.ucr.edu. If you have any other questions about our services or what we do at the Career Center, I recommend that you email us at careercounseling@ucr.edu or using one of the methods on the next slide.